DSP's wife had a flat tire, and I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, this is the reason behind. This is the reason I'm saying this. Cat had a flat tire, and the reason I'm saying she had a flat tire is because if you look at the picture, she's not in a park. Like, she's literally just coasted into wherever like the parking lot of her car was in. She didn't park her car like say like this is the parking spot. Her car's parked like this with like a parking spot line going like that.
If we completely ignore the fact that Jordy doesn't know what the word perpendicular is, or means, or how to use it in a sentence, he makes a very interesting point about this whole Dark Side Phil parking tire fiasco that has happened in the past week. If you aren't up to speed, we'll get you there. Phil will explain it. But even Wingo is coming out here and giving his own opinions on things, which is a bit odd because Wings typically never really commented on people that often. He would sort of shy away from a lot of that stuff, but now I guess he's garnered that confidence. He's really climbed that mountain. Regardless of what Wings 007 is trying to do and still trying to tear him down, Wings, we'll see how successful he can be in the long run, but this video is not about Wings. It's about DSP, and we're going to discuss whether or not this stolen tire situation type deal is valid, and whether or not I think the moral truth, obviously, somebody with a much more important opinion about this topic than anybody else that's been involved, what I think about this, and where I think this might go. So let's listen to good old Snort Boy himself discuss this topic.
Oh my God. You just couldn't make it up, but I wish I was. Oh. Oh, man.
Oh, Cooper, I don't know how I'm gonna make this video. I mean, there's something satisfactory about seeing somebody either click to start filming or reach for their camera to click a button or something, where it's like they have one completely different personality the second before they turn on the video versus afterwards. It's just like, he doesn't have to make this all drawn out and tiresome. I'm gonna make that point later on about how he can't tell stories, but like, there's no reason for you to be, oh man, it's not like you got shot or you were beat up on, coming back from Snorties R Us, the pizza store, it's not like something that severe happened. Yeah, something shitty happened, but like, I don't know, faking this while still seeming like you have a completely normal attitude is just preposterous. It's also like, if we could tell he was like crying or something, some emotion prior, it might be more convincing. But Phil doesn't care. He's trying to suckle some money out of you. That's all he wants.
Because I could do that this month because I should have a little bit of surplus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that surplus money and I'm going to just let it sit for a bit. Because you never know when something could happen. You never know when something could come up that you might need some money for. Right? And people were like, oh, but this means you should put that towards a new gaming PC. And you should put this towards this. And I was like, no. No. Absolutely not. No, what we're going to do is we're going to wait.
So he starts off his stream with already begging, and he'll claim that that's not what his intentions of this speech is, but his little pay piggy that he accidentally doxed about a week or two ago has been giving him hundreds of dollars every night that he's streaming. So he's accrued a couple grand in money that I'm sure he's going to spend on Uber Eats and, useless junk to put in the background of his videos. That's probably what he's gonna move towards. But instead of viewing this whole pay pig situation as like a positive, like, oh, thank God that Jinx really came through and gave me all this extra money, Now I can afford to have these emergency situations. Like, what does he think it's like for a normal person out there? You know, the majority of people don't have an emergency fund to pay for things like this, right? Phil spends thousands of dollars a month on mobile games and begs for money constantly on his stream, and has, in theory, should have a surplus of money, as he said, to pay off for emergency things like this. Yeah, it blows that this came up so quickly afterwards. Kind of convenient, if you ask me, but it should be a good thing. Like, okay, well, you know, we're gonna have to dip into that money. That happens to literally any middle class person or below in society. It happens all the time. And yeah, people might bitch and moan about it, but they're not gonna cry and call foul. They're gonna pull their pants up and say, all right, we have to work around this. Phil will never be able to understand that, because he's a 40-year-old degenerate loser on the internet who does nothing useful with his life and has no aspirations for himself. So no wonder he's going to continuously beg and blame everything on everybody else, because he's pathetic.
Look at the hole in my sock. Like everything else isn't bad enough. Look at there's holes in my sock. You can see it. A hole.
Literally nobody cares. I know it's supposed to be like a goofy, dramatic moment or something, but like, who cares? Nobody cares. It's a sock, dude. He's gonna draw out this whole story about how the tire got stolen, and this is part of it. It's like, why are you trying to milk this whole thing? You know, I guess you're trying to keep a dwindling viewership in your chat, waiting on edge. You know, I don't have to be here for that stream. I can go watch one of the clips channels, and then I can come back once I find an interesting moment and copy the link to your video and download it without giving you any views, without giving you anything. So it's just pathetic. Just get to the point, dude.
Our car, get this, which is locked, secure, everything should be safe, is supported by a car jack, and a tire is missing.
He like explains situations like I feel like I would when I was in like grade school. When you first discover something, you're like, oh, mom and dad, you know, I found out that, you know, the penis is not supposed to go in my ass, it's supposed to go in my friend's ass, you know, something like that, you know, where it's like he explains every detail that literally applies nothing to the story. It doesn't enhance it at all. It just makes me be like, come on, dude, get to the point. I don't care. Yeah, your car is locked. A tire is not inside of your car. It's on your car. It's exposed. And anybody that has ever driven a car understands how a tire goes onto the car. So yeah, it's not the most shocking thing in the entire world that a tire could be removed from the car, right? That happens all the time. I had tires replaced on my car 6 months ago. I know how that works. Phil, why don't you know how that works?
The entire tire, not just the rubber. The entire tire has been removed.
He doesn't even know what a wheel is. He literally doesn't know what a wheel is. The entire tire, including the rubber. Yeah, that's implied, buddy. That's what a wheel is. Do you know what the metal part on the inside is called? I doubt it, because you never call it that throughout the entire video. It's called a rim. I know that you're too busy guesstimating and wondering about the ideals of getting a rimmy. I'm aware, but we're talking about a different type of rim here. He's gonna try and embellish cost as time goes on too about this whole situation, and this is the image that Wings is talking about, where he thinks that she's parked incorrectly, therefore implying that obviously if she was parked normally to go to work at the mall, then this wouldn't be an issue. But if she's parked abnormally, it would imply that she was driving at some point and then the tire came off. You know, she wouldn't park illegally to go to work, in theory. My whole thing is, at the bottom of the image, you can sort of see what looks like used to be a stripe line. And it might have faded away. You know, it happens all the time, especially at malls, because they don't have the funds to be able to support restriping an entire parking lot. And you can also sort of tell because it's lighter than the pavement adjacent to it, and it also looks like it's at a slightly higher elevation than the rest of it, implying that it hasn't been driven over consistently as the rest. And that's how parking lots work. You know, the striped areas will remain mostly intact. They won't crack and crumble as much as the areas that cars are going to predominantly be. So I'm not certain I'm buying the whole idea that she ran off the road after a flat tire and had to park somewhere, because to me it sort of looks like she's in a parking spot. Obviously there's not a ton of context, but that's my opinion.
The value of a car's entire wheel is not equivalent to the value of a car jack. It is a very unfair exchange. And although I appreciate the fact that they actually left the car jack, alright, sadly, it is not a fair trade.
Just another joke falling flat. I mean, that's what Phil's entire streams are. Oh, a tire costs more than a car jack. Yeah. It's like, dude, it's not funny. You know, what am I supposed to be laughing at? Yeah, Phil, what a keen observation you just made there. An entire tire assembly costs more than a plastic and or metal little hinge that pushes the car up? Shocker. You really got me there, buddy.
Mall security gets involved, comes out, looks at the car, and the mall security basically says, well, we can't touch anything. We're not true investigators. We can't do anything here with that. You got to call the police. You got to file a police report. That's how it's handled. And then once the police are involved, it's the police's job then to contact you and us. And when they contact us, they may ask us for information.
Maybe I'm just gonna take a grandiose stance on this. Maybe this is just my hashtag toxic masculinity preaching. But I can understand why Kat would think to go to the mall security to see if they could do something. It doesn't make any logical sense because they're mall security. But Phil, as the husband, should have a more keen idea of, well, we probably have to call the police or do something of the sort. The mall security guys are a bunch of non-GED dropouts who just hang out there, you know, for the 40 people that come every week. So maybe that's just me getting on top of my soapbox and trying to make myself look cool because I'm so hip and cool. But you know, once again, Phil just proving that he is the toddler holding on to his mom's dress while she is getting in an altercation at the local Kroger over bread being 30 cents higher than it should be.
The fact is, they took the whole wheel. So I need to get a specific wheel type for this car, which likely they probably don't even have something like that just sitting around in stock, right? So already you're talking about that's going to be a pain in the butt, right?
Because, like, let's be real. Who is stealing one stock, Toyota Corolla wheel in the middle of the day? It's not like he has, like, Lincoln Aviator wheels or, like, Hellcat wheels or, something that actually would get you money on, like, the aftermarket, right?
This point is the point that I think is the most intriguing, and that Wings accurately brings up. Also, shout out to Wings for this, because for once, his only other hobby outside of gaming comes to use, and he knows a lot about cars. Debatably. Don't ask about the salvage Mustang. Don't ask about it. But it's very odd that somebody who's stealing a tire would steal one tire and do it in broad daylight while she's at work. And I don't know where she works. I don't know if it's a strip mall or a regular mall. I don't know how many people are around, etc. But she drives like a Toyota Camry, so like that doesn't make a lot of sense. And the only scenario that really makes sense for this entire thing to me is somebody who is completely out of money, has no options, their car broke down somewhere, they got a flat tire. Maybe wherever it was. and maybe they got it impounded, maybe they were able to get it back home, something like that. And ever since then, they don't have a spare, they don't have the money to get a new tire. They go out in public and see if they can find a Toyota Camry with the same rim size that they can steal and put it on their car. That is the only scenario that makes sense, because if somebody's willing to steal a tire in broad daylight, why would they stop at one tire? Right? If they think that they can steal them to sell them or whatever, why would they only take one? And why would they take it from this car? You know, a Toyota Camry is literally the most generic vehicle on the road. So they're not going to be able to find a nicer car, like Wings said, to steal tires from that would actually be worth money. This is the only part that makes me say, maybe Wings is on to something here. Maybe he knows something that I don't.
Because I didn't want to go out there, because, you know, I'm probably going to end up going out there myself to help handle it. You know, quite frankly, you know, Kat is kind of shaken about this. You know, you go out to your car, you have a whole missing freaking wheel. You're kind of just shaken up about it. And I want to get out there to help her with the whole situation, so I'm there with her. We can handle it together as a couple rather than just one person trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, I'm really sure you're helping her out, buddy. I'm really sure. I'm really sure as soon as you guys got home, you didn't go straight to your stream to go talk about this. You definitely are trying to help her out. Also, the whole image of DSP getting like an Uber or something to drive out there and then getting out to discuss this whole thing is really funny. It shouldn't be, but it really is. Just because, like, I feel like it's just a completely emasculation of him. You know, he can't pull up and understand anything. He doesn't know how to put on a tire. He doesn't know how to take off a tire. It's just like, the whole thing is just a complete mess.
So I walked in, and I said, I need 5 lug nuts for a 2017, you know, Toyota. And they went and looked and said, we have them. Okay? So I was handed a handful of lug nuts for a few bucks. All right, take that back. It was around $10. Okay? All right. So this is good news. Maybe I can get this spare tire on myself. Okay? So I go back to the car. I pull the spare tire out. I, you know, start to line up the tire and everything. So it's lined up. And I go to start to put the lug nuts on. This one, okay, this one's going on. This one's going, huh? Well, that's just my luck. They handed me a handful of lug nuts. 4 of them are correct, and 1 of them is incorrect size. So I got 4 out of 5 lug nuts that are correct, okay? It's just my luck. Good news is, you can drive with 4 lug nuts instead of 5. That's actually passable.
He literally doesn't know how to tell a story. It's like, I'm literally... You know, I just can't take it. You know, I'm snorting over here because I have to listen to this guy try and explain him buying lug nuts. Right? That's the story I have to listen to. And I also want to comment on him looking like a mafioso. His viewer goals are so stupid. They're so childish. I hate them.
The wheel in stock. We don't have entire wheels. We have the tire. If we needed just the tire replaced, all right, that would have been fine. But we need the whole thing. I order the whole wheel. He's like, so we got to order it. Now, the good news is, what's going on? People are saying things are going on that are racist and stuff. I'm not seeing it. I don't know what you mean. Hold on.
Here is Phil's actual wheel. They're $274.99 at this place for an OEM 17-inch wheel. This is the exact wheel that Phil's car has on it. You know, if you put that with a tire, let's say you got, I don't know how bad like Phil's tire tread was, but generally if you replace a tire, you generally want to replace them in pairs because of cornering. You don't want to have 2 different level of treads on the front or back of the car, because you can actually, because your tires move at different speeds when you're turning corners or like making lefts or rights and stuff like that. So worst case scenario, I would say after taxes and labor, $550, $600 to replace everything.
It's likely that Phil went somewhere. They don't have the right type of rim for him to use. That's possible. I also don't think he knows how tires work. I think he thinks that they come in like a manufactured assembly and that they don't put the rubber around the actual rim. That's my own personal opinion. I don't think he understands how it works. Second off, Wings estimates that it's probably like 600, $650, something like that. But Phil's probably going to go to the first store. He's going to go to some chain store. He's going to get ripped off. So his estimate probably won't be too far off.
Something came up. Because, just to let you know, it's going to be just about under $700. Just under, I believe. Actually, he didn't give me the final total. I think it was 600 and change plus tax. Out here, tax is high. It's like 10% or something like that. Okay? So, yeah. Now, here's the thing. I could have looked around. What I was being told by certain people, for example, when I went to the car place, I bought the lug nuts. The guy was like, if you really want to save money, you should go to, like, scrap yards. And you should be fishing out there for tires at scrap yards. That's what, you know what I mean? Do you really think I have time to go from scrapyard to scrapyard looking for a wheel for my car?
I don't understand Phil's whole thing about, I don't have time to do anything. What do you mean? I don't have any time. He literally streams during this entire time for like an hour, a little bit over an hour, and then complains that he has lost a day to be able to do streaming or whatever. And it's like, I know he streams twice a day, but this dude, if he really wanted to, could be working for like 12 to 14 hours a day. He really could if he wanted to. Because the videos he posts are no effort garbage that honestly, his entire archive of videos should just be wiped from the internet, because it's like, I don't know why YouTube would be like, yeah, you know, he just streamed all this content and then cut up his stream and then posted that while also posting his stream. It's like, he's just duplicating his content. Like, that should just throw it all away. Throw that trash away. It doesn't make air quote on-demand videos anymore. At the very least, though, the number he says is pretty similar to what Wings says, and it leads me to believe that he actually went somewhere to get a tire. The thing is, he would have to get 2 tires and a rim, because, as Wings stated, you need to replace 2 tires at a time, front and back, because you can't have uneven treads when you're driving, either in the front or the back. That'll lead to issues. So maybe that's factored in. Maybe he hasn't talked about that, but I feel like he would. I feel like he'd be like, I have to get 2 whole tires. I have to get 2 tires in a rim job. It's preposterous. I don't know what to do. I need more money. You know, I feel like he would say that, but he hasn't. Just something to really tantalize your taint with a little bit.
By the way, I'm just going to ban every single idiotic person who says something dumb in the chat right now. I swear to God. You are the biggest fucking morons if you think you're going to come on this stream tonight and you're going to say dumb shit in my chat. It is an instant fucking ban the moment you say something stupid. Test me on it. I dare you.
Ban, 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 ban. Gone. Forever.
And he's like, do you want a picture of it? Well, actually, he didn't even ask. He just sent it unsolicited. He sent me a picture of the rainbow trout that he caught this morning down at the park. I was like, that's nice. It's a nice fish, by the way. It's a beautiful fish. I have no idea what it had to do with anything or why he felt like he had to send me a picture of it while all this was going on, but he did. He sent me a rainbow trout. What do you guys think? Do you like to look at that trout?
Aw, is your dad, who is probably experiencing mental decline, trying to share a nice moment with you? Your dad probably understands the fact, oh, you know, Phil's wife having her tires stolen. That sucks, but that's really not big of a deal. Hey, why don't I try and connect with my son? Hey, son, here's what I was doing today. You want to see what I was able to do? Look, I was able to catch a fish. You know, instead, Phil is the most narcissistic piece of garbage out there. He's like, oh, the attention has to be on me. What does this have to do with anything? You're sharing your day with your dad. Your dad's sharing his day with you. That's how conversations work, buddy. But he doesn't care because he just wants sympathy. He wants everybody to feel bad for him because he's the victim 24/7. Just a pathetic little manlet, dude.
If you guys want to go longer and chat it up for, you know, I'll do Q&A and hang out with you guys. If you really want me to. That's cool with me if you want to. But it's too late now to really do any gameplay. You know, it's kind of sucks. I lost an hour of Zelda and I lost tonight's Final Fantasy stream. It puts me back streams now. When I'm trying to make advancement in the games I'm playing and finish them up before Street Fighter 6 comes out, this absolutely puts me back, right?
A whole hour, guys. He lost an hour, guys. He can't stream after this. It's not like you've ever seen a streamer out there that streamed for 24 hours at a time, or 10 hours at a time, or 6 hours at a time, or 4 hours at a time. I can keep going. You're just going to stream for an hour and then just say, oh, I need money, but I'm going to get off. Hello, this is your job. You know, I watched a video from Rudy over at Alpha Investments recently talking about whether or not you should open a card shop. And he talked about at the very end that it's essential that you understand once you become the owner, there are no off days. So Phil is the owner of his job. He owns his channel, and that's his income. Therefore, he doesn't have time to take time off, right? He is constantly on the grind, or it should be. But he treats it as a charity, as usual. So he's just going to pout and go offline and then come back and say, I don't have any money to get any of this stuff. Wah! You know, it's just pathetic. But with that patheticness comes an alpha male, like me. I hate that. I can't believe I just said I'm an alpha male. How pathetic. I'm worse than Phil. That's right. I'm worse. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. I will talk to you guys in the near future. Peace.